Welcome to What God Can Do for You. Today we've got our friends with us, John and Jan Shelton, and they have a remarkable story. They came to the church because you were invited by your osteopath.
Well, it was Jan's osteopath.
I think I'd probably had a bad back for about a year, and it kept going, and sort of then it would be bearable. And then at one time it did go, and I was recommended an osteopath. And while he's working on your back, he's asking you questions while you're relaxing. And he was asking me about Christianity and where I went to church and different things. And then he said, is it a lively church? Because he knows of a very lively church. So I asked where it was, and he said Brentwood. And I just thought, I didn't even know where Brentwood was. In fact, it was only about 35 minutes away. But he said, you know, if you'd like to visit, come along. And I do remember him saying about miracles, but it didn't really mean very much to me at the time. I certainly didn't come for a miracle. But I did talk John into coming to visit. And you said...
Well, I said, it's crazy. Why do you want to go to Brentwood? We're never going to go to that church. It's miles away. Why are you wasting their time?
Because we always
it's amazing,
thought,
isn't it? Here we are.
You need to be part of the community. So you need to be near your church to have full sort of input. And anyway, we decided to come, didn't we? And it was, I think, about a week before Christmas. Just happened to come along, and as soon as we walked in, you said that you
I liked it. I felt at home straight away. I felt as if, it was incredible. Just liked everything, liked the preaching. Jan wasn't quite so sure, but straight away I felt at home.
I wasn't sure because I was quite happy at our other church. And but John wasn't so happy there. So when he said, "Oh, I felt at home," I just thought, well, you know, something's going to happen. And then, so that's when we started
coming on a regular basis.
No, it was the next week was the carol service, and we were so impressed with the choir, weren't we? That we said, well, for Christmas we'll definitely come back. So that was our second visit, and it was really lovely, wasn't it?
Oh, good.
Really something special.
It is, the Christmas.
So then we found ourselves coming regularly Sundays, and then we started coming Fridays and Tuesdays, and before we knew it, this was our home church. But we were still travelling 35 minutes.
So how long did it take before you moved?
Well, I think we'd got itchy feet, and we'd been thinking about moving, but we'd thought about moving to different parts of the country. We had no reason to move to Brentwood. It wasn't like a real move. But it was probably, I don't know, what, 2 years-ish? Couple of years before we moved over. By the time all the transactions were completed, it took a couple of years or so. But we knew I think I knew from day one that this is where we wanted to be. It was then just a question of selling our own home and finding one over here.
And what was the contrast in the church, John?
Well, I think the church that we used to go to, the God that was preached wasn't the God that we experienced. And it just didn't work. It didn't seem to work. Whereas here, when I came in, I was really impressed by the spread of ages, from youngsters right through to very old people. There was a great sense of unity and a real sense of family. And the sort of things that we held quite dear and precious ourselves as a family, we could see here. And you know, Friday nights I would come, and the place would be packed with young people, and they weren't at the pub, and that was really remarkable from my point of view, because you know, most young people would be wanting to go out on a Friday night. So all those things kind of conspired together, I think, but it seemed to work here. And then we heard about the miracles, and eventually I experienced one myself. So
it happened early on for you, didn't it, Jan?
Well, it did, because one of the first things we did was there was an over 40s holiday that we decided to go on, because we would get to know a lot of people all at once. So we went on this over 40s holiday to Cornwall. And I really had a bad back, because I was visiting the osteopath regularly, and I'd had x-rays from the hospital, and they'd said that I just had wear and tear. It's just old age.
At 40?
And the back, well, this is what they said. It's just wear and tear on the spine. And this was the lower back. And they said, well, you can look forward to top of your back going as well, because they go hand in hand with wear and tear. So, and I also had a really bad frozen shoulder, but I'd carried that for about 3 years.
Oh,
and I just learnt to live with that. But the back...
It wasn't living with her.
No, because you can't sleep, can you?
Because with my back, when that went, we had an office desk chair, a secretary's chair, that John used to wheel me about the house, into the kitchen, do the dinner. And it was
how could he get you to
hysterical.
cook if he didn't wheel you in?
It was the washing that was the problem. That was what was really worrying me.
So we did have some laughs, but I was in pain as well.
Yeah.
But so the osteopath said to come here. And then on the holiday, we had a meeting every morning where you spoke to us, and then we went out and enjoyed the rest of the day, just holidaying and having fun. And there was a cycle ride booked after the meeting in the morning, which John wanted to go on. I would have loved to have gone on, but because I do like cycling, but I couldn't even think of it with my back.
Yeah.
So then you were speaking from the 23rd Psalm. Well, you'd brought it into it, and you'd said that when you go through the valley as a Christian, you don't sit down and in your sickness or whatever, bereavement or whatever, you get up and you keep on walking. You walk through it. Don't pander to your sickness. Don't lose your life to your illness. And I took all of this in, and I thought, that's it. I'm going to go on that bicycle ride, and if I'm carried back, I'm carried back. But I'm just going to, you know, believe the word and do it. And so I did. And we cycled. Well, I can't even remember. It was a very long cycle ride.
Seems like a long way.
It was a long way. It took all morning anyway.
Yeah.
And I cycled all the way back. And I just carried on as normal. And I didn't notice a twinge or anything. And from then on, it just went. It was just gone.
Well, that's
So your
wonderful.
back was healed.
The
That's
back
lovely.
was healed.
And your shoulder?
My shoulder, that was later on, because, you know, by my back going, believing in the word, I still sort of was used to it. And I'd come to the meetings, and you would ask someone if they needed to come down for prayer, and I'd just think, well, you know, I'm lucky with the back going, but I can't push it with the shoulder. Anyway.
It might be too much for God.
Yeah, you know, it did my back.
It's terrible.
Could he do my shoulder?